Ninjago 2025 Dragons Rising Season 3 may be off to a little bit of a rocky start, but Daniel Lewa, we may be so back. LEGO Ninjago may be redeemed.
I think that Ninjago Dragons Rising is really starting to live up to its name even better in 2025 because we're just getting dragon after dragon after dragon, and this is getting crazy.
So, if you don't know what we're talking about, 2 brand new LEGO Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 2025 sets have been officially revealed. They're set to release on March 1st, 2025, and they are both dragons, Daniel Lewa. Let's go through each of them and let's say the good things and then the bad things about both, okay? Because I don't quite know what Daniel Lewa thinks, and I know how I feel, so we're going to see if we can find some common ground. First, Thunderfang Dragon of Chaos. Okay, should we start with the good or the bad, Daniel Lewa?
Let's start with the good, because I think there's a lot of it here. This dragon has a lot of presence. I think what really sets it apart, especially in these marketing promotional images, is the fact that it's on its 2 hind legs. It makes it have this really big stature. It's very imposing, and the wings that are flying out behind it that make it feel kind of like almost like a peacock that fan out the feathers in order to be an attractive mate, or other animals that are intimidating by puffing out their wings or feathers. That's kind of what this is. Like having those huge purple wings out, it's really pretty intimidating.
The pros are that visually it just looks absolutely stunning, and especially in comparison to the other Dragons Rising Season 3 sets. There are cool figures like the Moro set, but it's just a facade. And we have Lloyd's green race car pullback. Like, those are not really visually beautiful sets. Zane's combo mech, it's cool, but this, we're getting some art right here, Daniel Lewa. We're getting an artistic piece right here. Look at the collar around this guy. It's like chains coming off his wrist. And all the pictures that we have so far show him bipedal. But I don't think there's anything stopping you from putting this on 4 legs, right? I'm sure it could do both.
It's about time we get some more villain sets in Ninjago. I feel like those are always the coolest sets. In Monkey Kid and Ninjago, the villain sets are where it's at, especially villain creature builds. And so finally seeing another really dope villain creature in the Thunderfang Dragon of Chaos is fantastic.
Well, vinyl is hard to deal with sometimes. Sometimes it's too garish, but this vinyl, I think, is done right with this swirling chaos in his wings. Like, that just looks fun, cool, awesome. But let's talk about negatives before we get into the minifigures. What are you not liking about it?
Well, you get a side build, just like a forgettable side build. I feel like that's a requirement that sets have to have, just these random side builds. Those aren't worth really displaying or like doing anything with. Sure, in both of these upcoming sets, you have the prismatic weapons kind of in the side build, and that's cool and all. And I think that makes for a good toy and play piece. But from the AFOL perspective, the figs and the big solitary build is really what shines here, and the side build's just kind of a whatever thing.
Okay, well, there's our first disagreement off the bat, because I actually saw this side build. I'm like, at least it provides the function of giving something to hold the dragon back, to chain him to. It actually serves a little bit of a purpose, but it's okay if we disagree, Daniel Lewa. Stick to your guns and let's fight it out. One other downside is the minifigure selection is okay. It does have the coolest new ninja in my book, which is Aaron in his black scarf suit, and this is first time I think we're getting him with the black hood on that suit. So far unique to the set. Another downside is this Dragonian warrior has different horns, and I guess that warranted it enough to be its own named character on the box. So that seems a teensy bit lazy.
Bro, they literally did that in Monkey Kid once too, where they had one of the Demon Bull clones that had the horns up and it was like Bob or something, and then the other one that had it like twisted and it was like Bill. I'm like, okay. So it's a little bit of that energy maybe.
Let's just talk about the minifigures. We are getting knocked in a different set. Thank goodness for that. And then we're getting a nice little spread of the ninjas in their new suits. Nia, Lloyd, Aaron, and Sora. Actually a pretty good figure pack. Like, that is 6 minifigures for this set. Price, Daniel Lewa.
This comes in at $70 for 668 pieces. Honestly, from what we're seeing so far, this seems like a pretty good value. 6 figs, a really cool, unique, big dragon build. I feel like I can't argue too much with that until we really build it,
I think the value's there. And I think this is one of, like, if not the best Dragons Rising Season 3 set so far that we've seen. Who knows? What would you rate it on a 1 through 10 scale?
I'll give it an 8. As a build, I think it's phenomenal. The only thing holding it back is the fact that there is only one really exclusive fig here with the new Aaron. Otherwise, it's a phenomenal dragon, and I really love seeing how they are innovating in dragons, because we've seen a bazillion of them so far in Lego and even Ninjago specifically. And so having one that is much more dynamic and has a much more crazy aura, I think is awesome.
He wanted to be a source dragon, I believe, and he didn't make the cut for being a source dragon, and now he turned evil. It's a little bit of a tragic story. We'll see.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll see season 3, Dragons Rising. Who knows? But maybe the next set that was revealed will top this one as the new champion of Dragons Rising season 3. I don't know. People really like Zane's mech as well, but let's go ahead and talk about the Ark Dragon of Focus. Heat or delete, Daniel Lewa, were they cooked or are they cooking with this new Dragons Rising season 3 Lego set? Brand new. Are you going to buy it March 1st, bro?
I wouldn't do this one on day one, bro. We just looked at one of like the really coolest dragons ever, and this one is pretty cool, especially because of the 2 heads. But I don't know, it just feels like it's not quite hitting on all cylinders.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm not cooking.
No, you're allowed to have you are allowed to have your opinion. But I saw this and I immediately had to message Four Corners on Instagram. Please, so if you're watching this video, you're like Lego Ninjago YouTube, subscribe to Four Corners, because I had questions for him. I said, what are the implications of this dragon? It looks wild. I know we've had multi-headed dragons in Ninjago before.
Well, we've had the Ultra Dragon in multiple different iterations where it split into 4 heads, and that was pretty cool, each one with a different elemental power. But we've also had another dragon with the 2 heads, and that was from the Lego Ninjago Dragon's Forge, which is pretty cool because it was like half colored like Kai, half like Nia. Pretty awesome. I think this one is a step above that, though.
So I think it's a step above that, but you are still not a fan. I really need to know why. I mean, Four Corners was telling me that the Ark Dragons are basically kind of a sub-tier below the Source Dragons, which is really interesting, and they're representative of the elemental powers, of course, so this may be a mix of ice with lightning. I'm sorry, Daniel Lewa, I don't know for sure yet. The show hasn't come out yet. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, there are a lot of interesting implications here, and the designers were a bit dodgy with answering some of these questions, so we will see. I think it's kind of cool that if they can have multiple powers in a single dragon. It does say it's the Ark Dragon of Focus, so it's like, is that just the one power that this dragon has, or does each half kind of have a different aspect of focus? Do they have different powers completely? So time will tell.
Let's start with the positive of this set before the negative. My first positive was, with these 2 sets next to each other, they are 2 very visually different dragons, not only in their silhouette, not only in their personality, but also in their colors, which is really cool. It's like, yeah, Dragons Rising should be about dragons. Let's get multiple dragons, multiple facets, and I think that's going to be really popular. Another positive, I think the vinyl here was also done pretty well. I'm not going to lie. The vinyl doesn't seem bad, and I like the teensy little vinyl frill on the forearm of the front forearms. Third pro, I do like the color scheme combination. They did go a little crazy with the molded gold, bro. But I like the purple with the tan. It just seems both of these dragons just seem brand new and unique to Ninjago. Like visually, they are really artistic. So that's the pros I gotta say.
And I think what's cool is that both of these dragons do have that similar shared design ethos. So they do feel distinctly different, but also from that similar world. You know, they're both Ninjago world. They're both kind of structured in a similar way. The head molds have that shared dual part action going on. Another thing I really like is, that's basically it.
He doesn't like anything about it, so
okay,
let's go to the negative. Let's go
colors.
to the negatives.
I do like the colors. I'll agree with you.
Well, okay, let's go straight to the negatives then, because you mentioned the head molds, and I'm like, are these head molds, the jaw and the top, a reuse from previous sets? That's not a huge problem. Like we can reuse pieces, but when it's such a big and prominent mold, you really relate it to other waves of Ninjago or other Lego sets. So maybe it would be kind of cool to see a different head mold than previous ones, but it's not a huge deal. Maybe I'm crazy for that one.
Yeah, it's been several years now where they've had these, like, I don't know if it's like 4 or 5 different molds that they use for the bottom jaw, top jaw, and they like interchange them, different colors, different combinations for different dragons. And I think it's a cool, innovative system, but several years in using them now, I wonder if it is getting a little stale. I, for one, do like some of the brick-built dragon heads, like Griefbringer, awesome. I don't know how I feel about the ones that are like mostly molded parts. What do you think, Matt?
Well, it's fine. I think it's fine because we know this isn't, the older Ninjago focused wave, but I think they hit a good middle ground with these two sets for being for newer Ninjago fans and older Ninjago fans. So props to that because that's a hard task. But since it's for that, I'm fine with them being the molded heads. Doesn't got to be super overtly detailed.
Another downside for me is that it doesn't feel very posable. I guess we'll see when we build it, but a lot of these dragon builds from Ninjago are kind of locked into certain poses. You can't do a ton with them, and that's why I think Thunderfang Dragon of Chaos stands out so much because it feels very posable, especially those front limbs, whereas this kind of feels locked in that centaur kind of pose the whole time. So I don't know if I love that aspect either, where you just kind of have to like bounce it around on the table or something. Not a lot of display ability potentially.
There is a little bit of clash between the gold and the tan side. I know Four Corners had a problem with the all gold head of the tan dragon instead of being like the purple side, that purple and gold. I think the purple dragon looks the best. So there are a little bit of downsides, okay? This will have a play feature of actually flapping wings. It's going to be really fun. Last downside I want to mention is we have so many Ninjago sets every single year for decades and decades and centuries on end. I'm thinking in the future, from 3 years from now, is this going to be a set where we look upon and be like, oh, that was one of the Ninjago sets to get? And the reason that I feel maybe not is because, first of all, the lore behind it. This is a sub-tier of source dragons. Like, just because of that, maybe these source dragons are going to be the long-term ones. Like, oh, you needed that. Like, those were the epic. But maybe this will be one to get because so far it's the only set that has Zarked.
Bruh. This is a crazy fig. This is the reason to get the set. Like, wow, if this guy doesn't come in anything else this whole year, that would be like the one reason to get the set. Or just order it separately if you don't like the dragon, because this figure is pretty dope.
New member of the Forbidden Five. Sounds a little bit like Fart, which was my first issue with it, but other than that, he is apparently the Master of Misfortune of the Forbidden Five. So we have 3 so far revealed: Knocked, Brute Force, Drix, Swamp, Zarked, Misfortune. It's also not looking good because these 2 sets, once again, we have Drix, and in the Thunderfang one, we have Knocked. So there is kind of a high likelihood of Zarked coming in a future set just because now we already have duplicates of those ones.
Yeah, that's very true. So if it's like you're really dying to get all the Forbidden Five, better just to wait till the end of the year to see what are the best sets or cheapest sets, whatever, to get these things. Because I think these really are just standouts. I really love what Ninjago Dragons Rising has done with these guys, kind of sprinkling them through season 2, now into season 3. They seem like built up to be the super cool threat, and the designs are very distinctive. I love how each one has a completely different kind of straw hat design that feels very unique and individual. One of the ones that we've seen in the show, but not in the sets yet, is Rox, who also has a completely different hat design with the one that Rogue or Evil J uses in one of the sets. So there's a lot of potential for these guys. Even like having all 5 of these guys next to each other, I think would just be so cool. So awesome to see that this guy, Zarked, got a really cool new mold for his hat.
Yeah, he's the coolest so far of the 3, in my opinion, just going off the printing and mold and whatever. So that is one other reason to get this Ark Dragon of Focus. And it does come with Pixel. She only came in one of the other sets in Dragon Rising Season 3 sets. Another Dragonian warrior who is not named. Lloyd, Cole, Wildfire's back, and Kai, as well as Drix. So that's just a huge figure spread. Like, they're including a lot of people I don't feel like they had to, but they just kind of did. But what about the price and pieces? And Daniel's 1 to 10 rating.
Yeah, this is $100, bro. This is $100 for 869 pieces, which, okay, piece count, whatever. That's pretty sizable. 8 figs, that's great. That's awesome. But $100 for what feels kind of like a smaller, like this dragon doesn't feel much bigger than the Thunderfang Dragon, honestly. And the fact that there's only one real exclusive fig with Zarked so far is just, it's not enough to really push me over the edge to want to get this. So I'm going to have to give it a 6.
Oh, wow. Okay. 6 out of 10. Okay. Almost a failing grade from Daniel Lewa on this Ninjago Dragons Rising set, guys.
These Ninjago Dragons have to just work harder now because there have been so many good ones. They have to work harder to stand above the rest, you know? That's all.
I got you, bro. I feel like these ones were standouts though, between, but so maybe you're wanting a little bit more. Maybe you're thinking of the other stellar dragons like Griefbringer and Source Dragon Emotion, and this one doesn't quite top those. But maybe it's not supposed to, being a sort of a sub-tier dragon. I like what they're doing of providing different dragons with different personalities and different personas, color schemes, etc. I kind of agree with you though. It's not as cool as the Thunderfang, but I would probably be a little bit nicer on it and be closer to the 7 out of 8 out of 10 range.
Oh, I totally get that. I think if it had like at least 1 or 2 or more desirable figures, I think it would bump it up a few notches. But there are a lot of things that these kinds of sets have to balance, and I get that. So all around, I think this is a pretty cool set. Just not one that I'm personally super hyped about.
Fair enough. But what would the chat rate this on a 1 through 10? As well as what would they rate the Thunderfang on a 1 through 10? Which would you like better between the two? If you were to buy either one, Daddy Lebo, which one would it be?
Thunderfang, 100%. I think it was super cool. And I'll wait for Zarked to come in a later one, I think.
Yeah, it is tough because Zarked is the coolest Dragons Rising Season 3 minifigure so far, up there with Evil J, but this is kind of overall the better dragon. Agree with you. Let us know what you think about these new Dragons Rising Season 3 sets. It's pretty exciting, and we'll have to see what the rest of Dragons Rising Season 3 has to offer, how it will compare to Season 2 and Season 1. It'll be super interesting, so strap in, hit the subscribe button, and follow us along the roller coaster journey that is Dragons Rising.
Thanks for watching, and special shout out to all of you guys, to Four Corners for his input, and to our channel members for making this possible.
Specifically, I'm Lidme, Dr. Dan PhD, MC Go, Richie Rage, Uncle Norman, Uncle Michael, Mary Kay, Oliver J. the Ginger Lender, Say Sada, Shui Lee, Grandma Susan, and Norman Davis. Oh my goodness. Thank you for being channel members on the channel. And we hope you guys have an amazing 2025 and an amazing year of LEGO Ninjago.
If you made it this far in the video, put Dragonair in the comments below and you'll be recognized as a real one.